Hi, Jessica Nadav bringing you this week's Devar Torah for Parashat Pinchas. As usual, I'd like to dedicate this Devar Torah for the Refuah Shalema of my mother, Simcha Violeta Bat Miriam, my brother-in-law Eric Yitzchak Ben Miriam, my mother-in-law Chava Freidel Bat Tita Malka, Harav Shimon Ben Sarah, and Shemuel Yosef Ben Rachel, and of course in the merits of all our Chayalim and all our Chayalot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should keep them safe and sound and bring them back home and always protected. Now, this week's Parasha, as I said, is Parashat Pinchas, and it begins with a continuation of an episode which began in the previous Torah portion of Balak. You remember last week we had two Parashiot, we had Chukat and Balak, and Parashat Balak concluded with the Moabite and Midianite women seducing Jewish men and enticing them to idol worship. Pinchas unilaterally and summarily executes a Jewish leader together with the Midianite princess. They're having a very public display of promiscuity, and he executes them. Now, this Torah's reading begins with Hashem praising Pinchas and rewarding his bravery by bestowing upon him Et Beriti Shalom, my covenant of peace, and granting him and his descendants the eternal covenant of priesthood. Now, as I said, this parasha is named after Pinchas, who is often viewed as a zealot. But it's clear that Hashem is happy with his actions. He does reward him. And in fact, as I said before, he's rewarded with two things: a covenant of peace and a promotion to the priesthood. So let's look at this covenant of peace a little bit, and let's see what it says. Et beriti shalom. Now, as we know, every kosher Sefer Torah must be 100% correct and perfect. In other words, no letter must be incomplete, no letter must be touching another letter, no letter can be broken. We know even the spaces between the letters are important. But if we look at the word shalom here, et beriti shalom, my covenant of peace, we look at the word shalom in this reference, the letter vav, which is a straight letter, is broken or incomplete. Now, there are different traditions how this is shown in the Sefer Torah, but the letter is incomplete. The Vav, as we know, as we've discussed previously, is a letter of connection. Often it depicts the connection between the upper and the lower worlds and between us and Hashem. That letter is broken. This letter of connection is broken. So did Pinchas act correctly? Clearly so. Because the Torah tells us that Hashem was happy. Well, the Torah tells us that Hashem says that Pinchas's action allayed his anger. But it is also teaching us in a nuanced way that the action that Pinchas took also broke something in the world. It's the right action in an imperfect world. Now, as we've said before, Pinchas got a further reward for taking this radical initiative and executing the two individuals who were caught sinning publicly. He became part of the kahuna, part of the priesthood. Now, being a kohen, a priest, is an immense privilege and honor, but it's also governed by a myriad of rules and restrictions. A kohen is not free to act as he wishes. Every action is prescribed in detail and regimented. Hashem, in his infinite wisdom, has rewarded Pinchas with an elevated position that will restrict his and his descendants' actions forever. Like a soldier, Pinchas will never ever be able to act unilaterally again. Now, I know some of my audience is in the military, both in Britain and in Israel, but even if you're not, what this whole episode is teaching us a very important lesson. Often doing the right thing, and in the world and in life, may not be pleasant. And we may have to break something to do the right thing. But under certain circumstances, we must do it anyway. We must live with the decision, and we must do it anyway. Shabbat Shalom.